Have you ever held a product in your hands and just thought, man, people everywhere need to have this? Well, that little spark, that's the beginning of a global business. Now, I know it can seem like this crazy, complex world of logistics and endless paperwork, but really, it's just a series of steps. And today, we're going to lay out the exact map to turn your global ambition into a reality.
So are you? Come on, if there's even a tiny part of you thinking yes, then you are absolutely in the right place. Because over the next few minutes, we're going to demystify this entire process step by step. We'll cover everything from getting your business registered all the way to that amazing moment when the money finally hits your bank account.
All right, so here's our game plan. We've broken this whole journey down into 5 stages. First, we're going to start with the absolute essentials, building your foundation. Then, the really fun part, finding a product and a buyer. After that, we'll talk money, we'll tackle that dreaded paperwork, and finally, we get to the best part of all, reaping the rewards. Okay, let's dive into part 1, building your foundation. Look, this is the bedrock of your entire operation. Getting your legal and business identity right from the very beginning isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential if you want to avoid major headaches down the road.
So where do you actually start? It's a simple 3-point checklist to get the ball rolling. First, you've got to register your company. Second, you need to get a permanent account number, or PAN, for that business and open a current bank account specifically in the company's name. And third, you have to secure your import-export code. Seriously, think of these 3 things as your launch pad. Without them, your global business just isn't getting off the ground.
Now, this next decision is a huge one. When you're registering, you have to choose a structure. Look at the top 2 options, a proprietorship or partnership. You see where it says unlimited personal liability? That's kind of scary. It means if the business owes money, they can come after your personal assets, your car, your house, everything. But if you shift over to an LLP or a private limited company, that risk is limited. It creates a crucial shield between your business and your personal life. Remember that import-export code I mentioned, the IEC? The easiest way to think about it is like a passport, but for your products. It's a mandatory 10-digit code from the government. And here's the best part. You only have to get it once. It never expires, and it's good for any product you ever want to trade. This is the official key that unlocks international borders for your business.
All right, with all the legal stuff in place, we can move on to section 2, finding your product and buyer. This, right here, is the strategic heart of your new venture. This is where your idea on a piece of paper starts to feel like a real, actual business.
So before you can trade anything, you need to learn to speak its language. And that global language is the Harmonized System, or HS code. Every single product has one. It's a universal code that customs officials all over the world use to figure out exactly what you're shipping. Get this code wrong, and your goods could get stuck at the border for weeks. It's that important.
So what's your action plan here? First, you go to the DGFT portal and find your product's official code. Then you start researching who in the world is actually buying what you're selling. Now, this third step is a total game changer. Get an RCMC certificate. This comes from an expert promotion council that's specific to your industry, like for textiles or engineering. Think of these councils as your industry insiders. They are an amazing resource for support, and most importantly, for connecting you with genuine buyers.
Okay, now for the part everybody wants to know about, mastering the money. And trust me, this is about way more than just sending an invoice. We're talking about smart pricing, secure payment methods, and how you protect your hard-earned profits from all the risks that come with doing business across borders.
Now, this might seem super basic, but it's where so many new exporters trip up. Your cost is everything you spend to get the product ready. Your price is what you charge the customer. If you get your costing wrong by even a tiny bit, one of 2 things will happen. You either price yourself out of a deal completely, or you win the deal and actually end up losing money. You've got to know your numbers.
This is where something called Incoterms comes into play, and you have to understand them. They're basically the official rules of global trade that define who pays for what and exactly when the risk transfers from you to the buyer. For example, if you quote X works, your price only covers the product sitting at your factory door. If you quote free on board, your price includes getting it loaded onto the ship. And CIF means you're covering the cost, insurance, and freight all the way to the buyer's port. Using these terms makes your contracts crystal clear.
So how do you make sure you actually get paid by a buyer who's thousands of miles away and you've never met? Well, one of the safest ways is with a letter of credit, or an LC. This is basically a rock-solid promise from the buyer's bank to pay you. As long as you ship the goods and present the exact documents that are listed in the LC, the bank has to pay up. It is your ultimate financial safety net. But, and this is a huge but, a word of warning. This quote says it all. Upon receipt of LC, don't jump for party. Do check each and every word. The bank follows the instructions on that LC like a robot. Any tiny little mistake, a typo, a wrong date, anything, can cause your payment to be rejected. You need to go over that document with a fine-tooth comb before you even think about starting production.
Which brings us very neatly into our fourth section, navigating the paperwork. I know, nobody likes paperwork, but try not to think of it as a burden. Instead, think of it as the essential paper trail that guarantees your goods and your payment move smoothly from your warehouse to your customer's hands.
So before your stuff can even leave the country, you need these key documents. It all starts with the pro forma invoice, or the export contract. Then you need a detailed packing list. But the most critical document right here is the shipping bill. That's your official green light from customs to export. You'll also need to sort out your IGST, which is the tax, and declare whether you're paying it upfront or using a special undertaking.
Okay, so the shipment is on its way. Now you have to prepare the post-shipment documents. This includes the final commercial invoice and the bill of lading, which is basically the title deed for the goods. You have to get this right, because these are the exact documents your buyer needs to claim the shipment on their end. And they're the very same documents you need to present to the bank to get paid. See? It all connects.
And finally, we have arrived at the best part of the whole process, reaping the rewards. This is where all your hard work pays off. We're talking about securing your payment, managing any financial risks, and taking advantage of government schemes designed to make you even more profitable.
So picture this. You agree on a price in US dollars, but by the time you get paid 60 days later, the dollar's value has dropped. Guess what? Your profit just shrank. To stop this from happening, you can use a forward contract, which is like pre-booking an exchange rate for a future date. Or you could hold the foreign currency in a special account called an EEFC account to pay for your own future imports without losing money on constant conversions. And here's where you can boost your bottom line even more. The government actually wants you to export, so they offer all these cool incentives. For instance, some of these schemes will literally refund the taxes and duties you paid on the raw materials that went into making your export product. It's like getting a bonus check that goes straight to your profit margin. Tapping into these is a huge financial win. But of course, these incentives come with commitments. It's a two-way street. For example, if you use a scheme like EPCG to import some new machinery without paying any duty, you then have what's called an export obligation. In this case, you have to promise to export goods worth 6 times the amount of duty you saved, and you get 6 years to do it. It's an incredible tool for growth, but it requires a real commitment to exporting. So there you have it. From registering your company to finding that first buyer, managing the money, handling all the paperwork, and finally, maximizing your profits. What might have seemed like a confusing maze just a little while ago is now a clear roadmap. The path from a local idea to a global enterprise is right there in front of you. The foundation has been laid, and now the knowledge is in your hands. In a way, your global journey has already begun. So the only real question left is, what market are you going to explore next?